like the title, but
Oh yeah, I like the title too. I know, it's very happy Halloween week, everyone. Francoise, I'm so excited to have a chance to talk with you today. Francoise and I have been friends. Thank you everyone so much for coming. And we are gonna have time for Q&A at the end. So if you do have questions about global hiring, H-1B visas, compensation in crypto, or all kinds of topics, like save your if I don't ask Francoise a question that we don't get to, you should feel free to ask it at the end. So hi everyone, I'm Aileen Lee from Cowboy Ventures, and I am so thrilled to have a chance to talk to my friend Francoise Brougher, who is the CEO of Pebl. My first question, Francoise, is you've had a legendary career. Okay, you were an engineer, you were at McKinsey, you launched Schwab Bank, then you got recruited to Google, you built the SMB ads business, which was a $16 billion business. You had thousands of people that you were overseeing and leading. You could have just mic dropped there, right? Like legendary career. And yet you said, no, I'm gonna go take on another one. And so you went to Square or Block, and you basically ran all go-to-market internationally, took them public, and then you could have mic dropped, and yet you said, no, I'm gonna take another one, and you went to Pinterest to be the COO, and you helped take them public, right? So we could just be like relaxing on Francoise Island right now, and yet you decided to take on being the CEO of Pebl, a company that you were on the board of.
yes.
Why?
And the first things, I go to company where I think technology can solve a real problem, a real life. There is some insight, and then you can build technology. I don't build technology first. And the insight was in 2005, I worked on a project at Google to open 100 engineering offices all over the world. And think about it, 20 years ago, it was quite forward thinking from the founder to think talent actually belong everywhere. Doing this project, I had a year to do it. The bottleneck and the long pole was not finding the talent. There is incredibly good research institutions all over the world. People are exciting to work on technology. It was not all the logistic of the bandwidth, the office, and everything. The long pole was being able to pay people, and to pay people, you have to open a legal entity in each country, and it can take over 6 months. It's not a question of even dollars, it's a question of time. So if EOR existed, which is called employee record at this time, I would definitely have used them because I think this is the fastest way to get into a market. So I find these things attractive. In addition to this, global trends, this is a genie you cannot put back in the bottle. People continue to expand and globalize. It's first time I'm in HR tech. I like industries that have been a little bit neglected from an experience standpoint. When I went to Square into payment had nothing to do with what it is today. And I feel the same about HR tech. There is a lot of different experience you can provide. And of course, like everyone in this room, I think in the last 18 months, AI has been fantastic, not only to build software, but really to automate and activate any type of workflow. And company like us are really workflow and process company.
So you were on the board of Pebl.
Yeah.
You took on the CEO role.
Yeah.
And when you took it on, you had some existing competitors, right?
Yeah.
Deal is kind of known for doing international things. Rippling maybe more US-based, but also kind of like a fast-moving. And these are both very well-funded companies in the space. So knowing that you were on the board, so you kind of knew what was going on, like what made you think I should be the CEO of Pebl? What's the differentiation?
Yeah, so when I was on the board of Pebl, I realized this company has actually 10 years of compliance data. So for people that don't know EOR, I can explain in a nutshell, is you are in the United States, you want to hire an engineer in Germany, you don't have an entity, we can hire this person for you. And hiring this person for you means we take care of all the compliance in terms of time off, vacation, leave. We take care of everything that is government withdrawal. We take care of all the benefits. And we make sure we actually pay people what the market rate is, that to make sure you attract the best talent. When you think about this problem, there is a lot of competitors in this space. We are the only one to have this unfair advantage of 10 years of data. If you think you put AI on top of this, and I encourage you people to go on the second floor downstairs, you can try. We make this compliance data available to everyone before you actually use our product. So I thought deal is interesting, extremely well-funded, extremely aggressive commercially.
Maybe a little too aggressive?
We love to be boring. You know, I talk about Pebl as the most boring company. I talk about Pebl being the infrastructure for employment. So if you think about infrastructure, think about 10 or 15 years ago. Maybe you don't remember or you were not there, but everyone has their data on premise. And then everyone moved to the cloud. And you can pick your preferred vendor, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, whatever it is. But what has been proven last week when AWS got in trouble, we all did. And that's the way I think about infrastructure. It has to be extremely reliable, extremely precise, and compliance is in business is so important. If you don't comply, you have the risk of 100,000 and plus fine by government. Not all governments are happy to see EOR. They see it as a way of circumventing their local law. So understanding it is quite important. And the worst, the most offending place that we see is misclassification of contractors. So we all have contractors, very easy, you can hire them. Many countries don't like contractors. You can't hire them for more than 6 to 12 months. If you give them an equipment, they have to be your employee. If they work only for you, they have to be your employee. If they work overtime, which often happens when you juggle different time zones, you have to pay them. So a lot of companies get in trouble, and the latest example I got this week, a customer that left us for deal came back to us, and it's happened in the UK. So the UK, January 2025, decided that to calculate your PTO, which is time off, you have to use a daily average of what you have received in the last 12 months. Issue is deal just did the calculation, didn't exclude the bonus, so suddenly you are paying your employee much more than you should. The customer is really pissed. The employee is not happy either because they had to recover the money from them. And this is really not a good experience. So all my career, I really care about perfecting the experience of the people we serve. And I think Pebl really provide this.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who just knows what an exceptional operator you are, I think when it comes to things that have a lot of regulatory and money movement, I would really trust a grown-up like you versus maybe like young guns who are very aggressive and maybe a little fast and loose. Mm-hmm. So take us on a tour around the world. So you have the chance of seeing companies who are employing talent, and obviously there are so many studies that demonstrate the importance of foreign-born talent in terms of technology and the companies they build, the work that they do. Take us on a tour around the world. Where are people finding great talent? What are the differences because obviously, especially in the age of AI, AI engineers are very expensive, right? And like we're starting to see that intense competition for talent in San Francisco, and portfolio companies that we work with are like, we'd love to have everyone in the office, but it's so expensive, especially in San Francisco. Where are people finding talent? What are the differences in the kind of like the pay ranges? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we see a lot of new geography, especially for technical talent. Several factors, you mentioned wage inflation is one of them. The latest regulation about H-1B is another one. Yeah. Because right now the price tag is 100K to bring somebody. It always was a problem, to be honest, because it was always built around quota. And generally what happened is big tech flood the system, and I was one of them, so I know. We flood the system with applicants, we park people somewhere, generally in Canada, and we wait our turn to get. So it's very difficult for startups to actually access this talent and do H-1B. So the combination of wage inflation, the combination of scarcity of talent, The geopolitical environment doesn't help in the US. Why, when I came into the US, it was really the land of opportunity. I do think now many countries have developed their own technology ecosystem and have incentive for people to stay home.
Right, and some people in other countries may look at us and be like, no, I do not want to live there.
Yeah.
I'd rather live where I am.
Correct. So Canada has been extraordinary in providing visa and bringing good talent. But even if you think a country like the UK, you can actually get a work visa if you have been to certain academic institution in the world.
Okay.
Even France, where I'm from, that is quite a conservative country when it comes to employment. They just enacted new law to incentivize people to stay home and now to actually attract people from other nationality to come and work in technology. So I do think it's going to affect the competitiveness of the United States if talent, we know all of this. I don't know in the room how many of you are first generation, I'm one of them, but a lot of them are here. And I do think now we are going to have a little more option to do things. The other hubs that we see completely emerging. So we see people that are very smart about where to pick the people. So we see a lot of emerging hubs. Latin America, if you think about Chile, Mexico, Costa Rica, we hire a lot of talent. Hiring a good engineer there is probably sub 90K. If you
Say that again. How much do you pay an engineer in Costa Rica?
90K.
Sub 90K.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could be a third the cost
Correct.
of a US-based
Correct.
engineer? Okay.
And even if you go to Canada, UK, like Germany, more sophisticated market is probably 150K.
Okay.
And you have very, very skilled worker because generally all these engineers come from very good academic and research. So the smarter companies are the ones that understand what kind of talent and are very modular. They say, okay, for this type of engineering, I'm going to use this country. I'm not yet sure if they have really the top-notch engineer we need. But for more developed, I'm going to go to the UK, and I'm going to find really great engineer. And then I'm going to have the one I need here. But when you think about the cost differential, I'm sure you saw there was an announcement by Mark Zuckerberg that everybody that graduates from AI program now guaranteed 280K at Meta. Really hard for startups to compete.
Yeah. And is that primarily your customer? Is if you're a startup who wants to employ people in other countries, they should talk to you?
Yeah, we have every type of customer, but startup is a very good segment for us. We are really able to help them.
Okay. Let's talk about how you pay people in different countries. So that's a tricky thing, right?
Yes. I think people should stop seeing payroll as just a simple process. I think people are much more agile when it comes to being paid. One of the attractions to work for an American company is to have flexibility of payments. So we started looking at crypto. And we did this study. We polled like 400 plus HR, CEO across US, UK, Germany, and we asked them many different questions. They told us 29% of their employees want to be paid in a different currency than the currency they are in. 15% want actually to be paid in crypto. Which is quite interesting. We didn't expect such a large number, so it's really
Is that in specific countries, or is that across the board?
So interestingly enough, is right now the countries that we have crypto requests, and we haven't really publicized or advertised that we do this, are European countries. So I have people in the UK, in Germany, in France, in Spain that are asking for crypto.
And are they asking like anything? I don't care. Give me Bitcoin. Give me ETH. Give me anything, or is it like?
So what they do, the way they do, is they want us to deposit fiat currency in their crypto wallet, and then they decide what actually they want to do with it. But interestingly, I'm always thinking about countries in LATAM, like Argentina.
Right.
50% inflation in a year, Venezuela, Bolivar, I don't know if it was anything, but even more stable country like Brazil, the volatility of currency is such that I do understand that sophisticated employee want some part of their payroll being in crypto.
That's so interesting. And so are you currently, and what about stablecoins? Is stablecoins, like we've been reading a lot more about stablecoins, is that going to be a key way to pay people, you think? In the
Yes. So stablecoin, it's really a good bridge between fiat currency and really pure crypto. So stablecoin is pledged to the US dollars. The advantage of stablecoin is you can move money much faster, you can settle at a much lower cost, and it's used all across the world. So there is good advantages to use this type of stablecoin, but it's almost a bridge. At some point, people are going to want to be paid in complete crypto.
Wow, fascinating.
So we are building right now all the tools for employer to be able to pay in any currency, including
This
crypto.
is like the mainstreaming of crypto, I think, like from the dark web to actually being like one of the most stable ways to pay people in different countries. Okay, we're gonna open it up to Q&A. We have a couple minutes for Q&A. So if you have a question, I think there are mics. Yeah. Feel free to go up to a mic.
Thank you very much for coming, and a very fascinating conversation about like the global sourcing of talent. I'm coming from New York City, so I can totally see it. Like, you know, we move where we have to move. But in terms of, as a graduate of the New York City public education system, from both, you know, inner city and then going to a higher high school and then eventually graduating from an MBA, I'm kind of curious, what would you say is an ideal way for public school graduates to sort of prepare for their career? Should they be preparing for this next 10 years in public sector jobs like the NYPD and the police department where they can sort of protect themselves? Or should they think about STEM talent?
This is a general career question.
Yeah.
Because you have had an awesome career, so this is
Yeah,
you're
and
very
you know
wise
what?
about
I
this.
have actually, it's a good question for me. I have three kids that are Gen Z. So I have this conversation all the time, what they should be doing. I do think, I'm also a product of the French public education. Mm-hmm. I do think the lack of investment in public education is a huge disadvantage for country, and they're going to have a really tough time to catch up. I think the stuff that makes technology unbelievable is demographic. How many people do you have in a country, and what kind of education you provide? So I'm like completely partisan for public education. Unfortunately, in the context we are right now, public education is being defunded. What I tell people, and I tell this to my kid, find job where critical thinking is still important. Where you are not going to be displaced by something that can algorithmically be found. I think building stuff, I'm very excited about everything that is happening in aerospace, whatever job you have, because you're actually building things.
Yeah.
I'm excited for people that want to go in public service. I think we don't have enough people in public service. Designing policy, like we talk about crypto, I need public servant to really think, I need regulator in every country to really be up to speed and understand the technology, the potential. So public service, I always encourage people.
I'm going to stop you because we have a long line and we don't have a lot of time left.
So that's,
and also there is a Pebl booth outside. I think, is it right on this floor? So
yeah, on the second floor.
Oh, okay, so
we are all here.
So you can, if we don't get your question, come see us there. Go ahead.
Hi, Francoise. I'm Sarah of Product Place Labs, where I do fractional product management. I have over 15 years experience in HR tech and the future of work. And I know that you all have this AI-first platform. You've built your own payroll engine, which gives you a strong competitive advantage to your peers. However, with your pricing, your value, and your positioning, which is a premium for a lot of companies, have you taken the model of thinking about going beyond HR and building out modules to create a unified platform, more like Rippling, for the long term as a competitive ad to compete with their competitors?
Maybe. We are really focused on EOR. Again, as I said, 10 years of data of compliance. Rippling doesn't have this. We ask people to pay us per employee, not per seat. So if you don't hire, we actually don't charge you. EOR, it's a very specific model, and that's where we are. We may look at other adjacent vertical. It may not be the same that Rippling is doing.
Okay, we'll take one more question, and then we have to probably wrap. So
also for a U.S. market, PEO to come into the U.S. market to compete with both?
Yeah, and if you want to know more on PPO, find me on the second floor. I can give you my
Thank you.
explanation.
I will do one more question.
Hi, my name is Kiana. I'm from Houston. My company is Talent by Friendly Faces. And I have a question about security. So I'm matching workers locally and across the country with employers here in the US. So have you guys seen anything from a security concern with foreign workers?
Not specifically. Again, we have a very strong security team that understands the movement. Understand we employ people, we move money. So think about us as a fintech almost, and all the people we have hired in our team came from this background and really understand movement of money, PEI information. It's the same that many different companies, so we don't have a specific source to address this question.
Thank you so much, Francoise. We're so excited that you're the CEO of this company. Come learn more about the company at their booth, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.